Thank you for joining us, everybody. We're going to get our show started in just a couple of seconds here. I want to remind everybody, if you could just share this broadcast, we would greatly appreciate it because it would help us get more views and make the show a lot more exciting for live interaction. So please, don't forget to share the broadcast. We also appreciate all of your likes and comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and get ready for Spit The Wit. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to this show that was entirely produced and developed by the people sitting in front of you. Jessy, Meadows, and Frankie Almost. Brought to you in part by Rolling Hills Productions. Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Spit The Wit. Jessy, if you would be so kind, would you please tell us what today's show's about?
Hello, everybody. Well, our show's not, it's just me and Frankie, so it's just us kind of like going back and forth and talking about whatever comes to mind, Like, it's pretty cool like that, so it's going to be fun. It always is.
And now, here is your host, Frankie Almost!
Oh, man. Too many laughs at my poor wife's expense.
It's fine. That's what I'm here for, is entertainment.
No, what you were freaking looking up at the microphone, and it was just so hilarious looking. You have to see it in the rebroadcast.
Okay.
Oh, my God. What's up, everybody?
Hopefully everybody's laughing.
It was pretty adorable, but, I'm, of course, your husband, so my opinion doesn't really count as far as, that goes. But anyway, welcome, everybody, to Spit The Wit. I, of course, have Frankie Almost, and this is my wife, Jessy Meadows, who you saw in that silly shot. Welcome to Spit The Wit. And we have a lot to talk about today, but we don't know what those topics are. Because as you can probably tell from the last broadcast that we had, I fell sick. Part of it was because of the diet. My immune system was low because I wasn't eating, and I was starving myself, and I caught this nasty cold, and it ended up turning into a really bad respiratory
bronchitis-y thing. Yeah,
bronchial thing. It's so bad.
It's bad, and we don't know if it's like a flu that's going around or if it's so we don't have to look up at it.
Yeah. Go ahead and continue.
We don't know if it's allergies or what's going on, but it's nasty, and it's weird because some people seem to have it and others don't. And I don't know.
Right. But it really, really knocked me on my ass because I was seriously the day before I got stricken with this, I was feeling better than I have in a long time because I had lost weight and everything like that, so I wasn't carrying as much weight around when I was doing things, and menial tasks weren't as complicated as they had been in the past couple of months, and so I had that relief taken, or that stress taken away from me, and then boom, I woke up the next day and it felt like somebody punched me in the throat.
Mm-hmm. I felt like I'd swallowed a piece of glass.
And
That's how
my
it started.
God, it was so bad. And so I've been sick ever since, and periodically I lose my voice, which is great when you're trying to do a radio podcast. So my voice is a lot better than it was the last broadcast that we did, but it still comes and goes. So if that happens, please forgive me. And we're going to try to carry on. Other than that, I hope the rest of you aren't catching this, and especially like my mother, her, myself, and my partner Howie, are all three have this cold, and then my mom's 79 years old, walking around with all these idiots sick around her, and I'm like, oh my God, please don't let her catch this. So.
Well, hopefully it's more allergy related than anything, and it's not.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Contagious.
That'd be nice. So, so let's see. What kind of topics were you talking about today, or wanting to talk about today, babe?
I don't know. did we go into Easter the last broadcast? I think we did.
We did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And now that it's gone, I kind of want to leave it that way. Easter's never been one of my favorite holidays. There was an Easter back when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and just like the movie Burt Wonderstone, which her and I totally love because A, it's about magic, which is something, and then B, it's about being Vegas entertainers, which we both aspire to do and have been periodically and stuff like that. And then the fact that it's based around Vegas. But when I was 8 or 9 years old, I actually got a magic set myself, and I swear to God, it was funny. Spoiler alert, if you're under 10 years old and don't know about the Easter Bunny, turn this off right now. Okay, so I was a young kid and didn't know that the Easter Bunny was my parents. And so my mom basically, it's funny because I found out about the Easter Bunny before Santa, and I still held on to the belief of Santa, even though I knew the Easter Bunny wasn't real anymore. But so she took me out to buy this magic set and basically told me I had to wait till the next day for tradition that the Easter Bunny was going to give it to me, and that's kind of how I found out that the Easter Bunny wasn't real. But I got this magic set, and that Easter was like probably the most epic Easter. I mean, I like the family aspect and the fact that, you gather around and you eat and stuff like that, but as far as like it being like this awesome holiday, it never really is, except that one. That one was great. So
it used to be like one of my favorite holidays. Yeah. I think it goes Halloween, Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Why is Valentine's Day second?
I don't know.
Because you're a girl and you get all the stuff. That's why.
No, I actually used to buy myself stuff. If I saw something, I'd be like, it's Valentine's Day. I can get this for myself. I'm going to be my own Valentine.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. Is it was like that and my birthday were like the only times I could be like,
Mm-hmm.
I want this.
So Christmas falls in what, third for you?
Easter's third.
Easter's third. You like Easter more than Christmas?
Yeah, just because of the stigma around Christmas and how crummy people are at that time of year, and the depression and the obligation is just awful to me. I love the feeling of Christmas, and I love hearing the old Christmas carols from like the 50s and 40s.
Yep.
But anytime I try to start to get lost in the Christmas spirit, I'm reminded of how awful people are to each other, and people stabbing each other for the last, Nintendo or whatever it is, Xbox.
Right. Like Black Friday kind of situation. Yeah, I agree with that. There's just been so much emphasis placed on the propaganda that it's hard to enjoy it. Yeah. I think that it's important, though, to surround yourself with people that don't follow the propaganda, which is nearly impossible because almost everybody falls into that category. But if you can possibly surround yourself with people with the same ideas, then Christmas can become an enjoyable thing again.
Maybe, yeah. Because I really do. I think it would be like my third favorite holiday.
Yeah. I have a love-hate thing with Christmas, too. And a lot of it is because of the things that you said. Another is because for a majority of the time that I ever lived with my mom, because there was so much emphasis placed on things, and we had a really big house, it was time to decorate, and my mom went all out, which means whether you wanted to or not, you went all out, too. So I was always up in the attic, moving boxes with other people in the family, and freaking cursing Christmas, and, oh, God, why do we have to do all this?
Yeah. And it, my parents stopped celebrating Christmas because it was pagan and all that stuff when I was like 8 years old. So most of my childhood, I didn't get Christmas gifts, and I got to see everybody being insane.
Right.
So the kids would come back with all the Christmas gifts they'd gotten, and I told my parents I was okay with it, but what was I supposed to say? Like, no, because it wasn't about Jesus. It was about Nimrod, right? So
you're talking way above my head, dude. I don't pay attention to ideologies and religion, as you know. So.
Yeah. Well, at 8 years old, I was being told this. It was about Nimrod and Semiramis and not Jesus and Mary. And so, yeah, it's got kind of that heartbreaking tinge to it when I think about Christmas. I'm like, yeah.
But I, like you, like the idea of the Rockwell kind of Christmas, meaning snow falling on the ground, old town mentality, Christmas carols, and of course like all the greats like Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra and stuff, and Burl Ives. His name's not Ivan Burl.
Ivan Burl.
She one time we were doing a trivia thing, and the answer was Burl Ives in the thing, and she ended up saying Ivan Burl, and I just lost it. I was like, who the hell is Ivan Burl? So, okay, so yeah, I think we could talk about that, but I think the thing about it is that summer's coming and everything like that, so we probably shouldn't be talking so much about Christmas. we started off as Easter and then we went to Christmas, which you could banter on forever with Christmas topics. Mm-hmm. So we probably should go a different route than that. I wanted to let everybody know that I haven't really been drinking soda that much since I went on my diet, but right now I'm drinking RC Cola. I haven't drank it in a very long time, and people that are from the East Coast are probably like, hell yeah, man, he's drinking RC. And I actually like it. I think after Coca-Cola, RC would be my second choice, not Pepsi.
RC, a little of the Royal Crown.
The Royal Crown, that's what the RC stands for, correct. Which is funny, because if you have that and Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Right.
What would you even call it?
An RCCR. That's what I would say anyway. An RCCR. So speaking of alcohol and stuff like that, her and I are going to be at Noreen's Lounge on this Thursday, where we're going to be hosting festivities such as dancing and singing and drinking and debauchery. So if you're not doing anything on Thursday, come and join us at Noreen's Lounge located on Tropicana and Harrison.
It really is like double shots in a parallel dimension.
It seriously is in a better dimension, absolutely.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a night where it was so crowded that I'm shocked, but we've had nights that were really well occupied, and I was like, oh, not bad for a Thursday.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everybody that has been joining us and coming out. Octavius said, "You are beautiful." I would assume that Octavius is talking about you.
Oh, well, thank you. You never know. Maybe he's talking about you.
He could be talking about me. I would like to think that I'm beautiful as well.
You are beautiful.
Thank you, Octavius. And so, let's see. What else were we talking about here?
Ooh, just thinking of like what's been going on lately.
Well,
here
I want to eventually talk about what we're going to turn this show into, because people have been kind of like, just like with everything, the novelty's worn off. Here we are talking yet again, and we do have interesting things to say, and our viewers do, commend us for that. But I don't expect us to tune in for us to banter all the time about just whatever topics fly into our head. This show is going to take a direction, and it is going to be beneficial to the community, and we are in the works with that, and we're going to reveal that in just a little while here. But until then, we're going to think of things to banter about.
Random stuff.
Just random stuff, yeah.
I had a thought, and I just lost it.
Okay. Did it have to do with the community? Because you asked what kind of things are going on.
Yeah, it was like, thinking of what kind of things have been going on in Vegas. And then I just blanked out.
Okay. Well, Octavius said, "What topics are you discussing?" Apologize for that. Like I said, I'm battling a cold right now. But
and by the way, anybody that wants us to talk about a topic, go ahead and
call us on the number below.
We take live calls, or if you're shy, then you could just comment.
Right.
Because we read the comments through the whole.
Right. But we end up posting these videos on YouTube, so it's better if you call in, because people on YouTube can't see your comments. So if you did want to call in, Octavius, we have no problem accepting your phone call. And that goes to the rest of the people that have been popping in and out since we've been broadcasting. If you feel like just talking about random whatever, we will talk about, because we're out of material today. Because, like I said, we've both been under the weather, so we haven't been really researching anything. Oh, another thing, and also our internet at our house got cut off.
Yeah.
So we need to pay that bill, and we can't afford to do so right this second. So
we're not being rude if we don't respond.
If we haven't written back to you. As a matter of fact, you see these gangster headphones that Jess is wearing. These were donated to us along with 2 other pair from the people at Gangster Headphones, and we haven't been able to communicate with them to pick up the other 2 pair. So we're not being rude if we don't answer when we're not here in the studio. It's because we have no internet right now, and there's nothing we can do about it until we come. Octavia said that he comes from Indonesia. Awesome.
Wow.
That's nice, Octavius, and I congratulate you on your English because you speak very well. Unfortunately, neither one of us know Indonesian, so.
No.
None at all. I don't even know anything.
I'd like to go there. But.
Right. Jess says that she likes Indonesia and would eventually one day want to go there. So, yeah. What other topics were we talking about here?
Well, on... What was it? Saturday, we went to the pool at the M.
That's right, with Crazy J.
With Crazy J for the Rockin' the Spring.
For Rockin' the Spring. And I think that day, I don't think we were on the Rockin' Comedy Show. I think we were, when we were speaking, or when I was speaking, we were on Vegas.rocks, I think.
Vegas.rocks?
Or, yeah, I think VegasRadio.rocks. Is that what it's called? VegasRadio.rocks, I think. I'll post it in the comments later when I clarify what that is. But yeah, we were talking about stuff. Oh, interesting that you mentioned that. What was the guy's name? I can't remember his name right now, and I apologize to the guy. He's the drummer for Green Jelly.
Is it Green Jelly or Green Jello?
I think it's Green Jelly.
I'm not sure. I know the song, but
the people that did the Three Little Pigs song. Anyway, he was talking about something. He had brought up a topic about animatronic wives or robot wives. Would you trade in your wife for a robot wife that basically wouldn't, cause you any hassles or argue with you, or she would basically be at your beck and call for sex and or sandwiches, the 2 things that men care about, sex and food. So and he was posing to this question to the rest of the people, and and most of the people were like, oh yeah, of course, blah blah blah. Some people chose that they would rather have their wife, and I was one of those, and I said it's not because she happens to be sitting right there, which might have possibly been part of it, but honestly, the real reason is because I think that you need to have an opposing point of view in order to continue to keep growing, and I don't think that without opposition that you can grow. That's why typically in movies and stuff there's always an antagonist, because there's room for growth there if you have some kind of adversity that you need to overcome.
Well, and there's
I'm not saying that your wife is your antagonist or your adversity to overcome, but I'm saying, for example, that that if you don't have any opposing point of views, then you don't really learn anything because you're just convinced in your own brain. Like the first person that thought the Earth was flat. If nobody ever came to him and proposed that it could be round, he would still be there believing that it was flat.
And, well, what I was hoping somebody would say is you really can't be in love with a robot. So if you want to be in love, you need to be with a human.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you can be in love with anything. There are people marrying trees, as you know, and a tree is a living object. But I think that you can be in love with an inanimate object to a degree, for different reasons, because I think love is a selfish thing for the most part. People's perception of love is a selfish idea, and that is, I love things for the way they make me feel. Mm-hmm. Now, whether that I don't think that would fall under the definition of true love. I think true love means that you feel for that person so much that you just want to see them happy.
Right.
That's the type of person that always lets them go. Hey, I just want to see you happy, so I'm letting you go. So be free and be happy, and that would in turn make me happy. I think that falls into the category more of what love is, but for the most part, I think people believe that love is how something makes them feel, and inanimate objects can give you gratification. I can love my jacuzzi or my sauna.
Or your car.
Or my car. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's possible. Your wife is about to be your antagonist, Frankie, said Jennifer Wellman. And she said, I feel you, Jess. Hey, Jennifer, I just read your email, and I'm glad that everything's going okay. We were worried about you, so anyway, don't want to get too much into that, but we, wish you the best. So, and I'm losing my voice. I sound like I'm being sentimental with everything. I feel like I'm on the verge of crying. Like I would be perfect to put in a movie right now because I'd be like, and you said this and blah blah blah. Like,
you don't sound like that.
I feel like I sound like that. Like everything that I'm saying is just so sentimental. Oh, you're welcome, Jennifer. So let's see. How much time do we got going here? Oh, we still got 40 minutes. We got plenty of time. Right around the half-hour mark is when I want to divulge what we're going to turn this show into. So for those of you that are poking in and out and just saying, oh, they're not really talking about anything today, we are going to get to a major thing here that involves a lot of local artists here in Vegas. So if you have a song or an act of some sort,
or artwork,
just basically are in the arts, which, we have the art district here in Vegas. So it is an artsy town. Thank God. I don't know how much it used to be, but it is now. Mm-hmm. And I am so ecstatic about that. That's one of the last things that I'm holding on to with this town, because the Strip, in my opinion, has fallen apart. It's nothing like it used to be. We talk about that a lot. But the fact that there's an art community here is a very big thing. And if you are involved in the arts, we encourage you to come back in the next 9.5 minutes. And we're going to tell you some stuff that might get your stuff displayed.
And Jennifer said something.
Dembski glass.
Dembski glass.
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
No, but I love anything glass. So
I don't know what Dembski glass is. What is that, Jennifer? Can you explain it to us? But yeah. And we're probably going to play one of our songs or video here. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to talk about. We're only 76,000. I say 75,000, but it's actually 76,000 and like 22 views away from 1 million views on YouTube. So I'm at the rate that it's going right around June, somewhere in June. It would be nice if it was before my birthday on June 3rd, as a birthday present to me to reach 1 million views. That would be awesome. But our videos are almost to 1 million views. Oh, my friend's parents have a studio. It's called Dembski Glass. Okay.
Oh, nice. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check that out. So, point them in our direction, and we'll look them up too, because we I'm still not gonna divulge. We have how many more minutes here?
Like 8.
8 more minutes. It's 7 actually. 7 minutes.
7.
Love that RC Cola. Not sponsored by them yet, but actually don't want to drink too much soda anymore. It's kind of like the only reason I'm even letting myself have some now, even though I'm on a diet, is because there's got to be something. You know what I mean? I have to have some kind of outlet that makes me feel good. So I'm just like,
Yeah, I mean, like, I love my diet soda, the Stevia sodas. Just because you got to have something. Like,
you have to have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna die.
It's so bad. You're like, I don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. I've got a diet. I can't drink. I can't smoke. I can't.
Today was one of those days that I should not got out of bed. We're holding it together pretty well here on the show, but we actually I was in the worst mood all day. Ever since I woke up, everything has been such a freaking draining task, and just like one of those days where you feel like you're running on a treadmill.
Yeah, it's
not getting anywhere. Yeah.
We ended up in the wrong dimension.
We woke up in the wrong dimension today. Yeah. She's Jennifer Wellman said, "Screw diets. I lost an inch just by making a change a couple of weeks ago." And how did you do that, Jennifer? What was the change? I'll give you time to type that. But yeah. So, and it's funny because like the last $60 that I had to give away.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. It was like the last little $60, and I was like, And I just had to go, okay, see ya. I was like, man, I shouldn't have woke up today. So
yeah, and it's one of those things where, I just realized, like, you don't have control. You don't, nothing is...
Right. You do to a degree, but every once in a while, everybody loses a grip on it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, is like, I know that some people, a lot of times we talk like we have all the answers, but we don't. We just speculate just like the rest of everybody else, and assume that a lot of what we think is correct, and, we're not always right. So, and we're not always able to control our destiny. So, oh, she changed jobs. Yeah.
Oh, from what to what?
From what to what, in case you didn't hear, Jess wants to know. I've been the biggest fan of even it's your last $20. Do something with it that makes you feel good. Absolutely. And same here. However, mine was more or less giving it to somebody else to make them feel secure. So, which, in turn is better for me too. So it's somebody that I care about. It's not like we gave it to somebody we don't like. But it was still, it was my last little bit of security because I don't make any more money until Thursday. So the next 2 days we just kind of gotta grin and bear it. Yeah. So, let's see. We're still not at the 30-minute mark.
Really?
Yeah, it would seem like we were because it felt like we just said a lot.
It's been one of those days where you're just like, oh wow,
right.
It's only
right. I'm glad that today is kind of slow actually, for 2 reasons: A, because I'm not on my game, and B, because I'm not on my game physically either with my voice and everything, but also because it's going to prove to me that, or it's proving to me that our idea is going to make the show so much better because there will be more content and we don't have to think of things on the fly, which we don't. Oh my God, which we don't. We can think of things before we come in. However, we forget half the time. Not only do we not forget, we don't write it down, and then we get caught up in our everyday lives, so we end up going, screw it. And then when we do write things down, we end up sounding choppy and weird and unnatural. What does it say? Can you read it? Sometimes doing something with that last of your money can give you more of a reason to keep going. Right. And that's exactly what today was. Because even though it wasn't going directly to something that we wanted, it was going to something that somebody else needed, who ultimately always makes sure that we have what we need. So it was like one hand washing the other kind of thing. So it was just like, there you go. It's like you can't try to hold on to anything. You can't try to hold on to money. You can't try to hold on to your job. You can't try to hold on to your significant other. You just have to just let it be. That Wilson Phillips is full of shit. Hold on. Hold on for one more day. So, okay, let's go ahead and divulge what we're going to do with the show here. So if you are an artist of any form, preferably music, but it doesn't have to be music. It could be anything. We're going to start playing music on our show. And here's the problem and the dilemma that we ran into, which actually is benefiting us. Because the more that we thought about it, the more we realized that it was probably this way for a reason, because that way we could help out the community more. And that is, we can't just sit here and play Prince or Michael Jackson or AC/DC or whatever is out there and popular, like the newer stuff, Chainsmokers and 21 Pilots and stuff like that. Although we would like to, because, as you know, there's this thing called copyright. And you can't just use things, like there is a stipulation in a copyright thing which says that you can use anything that's out there as long as it's a very small percentage, and it's a 70-30 rule, basically. So that still negates being able to play full songs because it's their entirety. So you can't play something in its entirety without paying copyright. So I sat there and I thought about it and realized that my whole life I've been a musician in the struggle. And what better way, since we do have some viewership here, to get people to an audience that they've never been to before. Obviously, people that are not signed to record companies have artistic control over their intellectual properties, and that being music or artwork. So we are going to start turning this into a community thing where we play music on a regular basis. We're not going the competition route just yet, but we want people to be able to be heard. So if you do any genre, from punk to rap to R&B to country, whatever the case may be, we're going to start playing blocks of music, and along with playing the blocks of music, we're going to have the name of your song, the name of your band and or project, and contact information for the entirety of the song. So it's not like it's going to be tagged on the beginning and the end. There's going to be an entire thing. Also, if you have a music video, we will play your music video here. And what that entails is that you're going to have to sign a release form saying that you give us explicit permission to play your song and or show your artwork. Mm-hmm. So we encourage anybody that's watching this broadcast or the rebroadcast to get in contact with Spit the Wit by liking our page or sending us an email or calling the number that you see below me, and we will give you more details of where and when to pick up your materials and bring them to the show so that we can get them on the air. We're going to start doing this probably next Tuesday. We have a guest coming in on Friday, and Fridays are still our interview days, Friends on Fridays, and it's 2 of us on Tuesday, so 2 for Tuesday. However, we might have a little panel of people in here on Tuesdays when we play music to basically like critique or say what they think about the song, how it makes them feel. Basically, just to give the artist a little more insight. Not that, our word is like according to Hoyle what they need to hear, because none of us are AR reps or anything like that. We just want to give an outside opinion to all the genres and all of the people that will be involved. Like, we're not going to have some rocker dude here that just absolutely hates rap and then play your rap song and he's like, oh, I think it sucks. Because he thinks every rap song sucks. Right. So we're going to have people that are, multi-genre listeners like ourselves and listen to your projects openly and honestly. Play
demo tapes and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Whatever.
Tapes, huh? Did you really say tapes?
Yeah, demo CD, I guess you would say. Like,
it's not even CDs anymore, dude. It's files.
Oh, okay.
Send us
your
your
demo
files.
file.
Yes, of course. BitTorrents, when people started doing the Napster thing back in the late 90s, most people, you're so mad at me right now. Jennifer's like, oh, yeah, here goes the opposition. So, no, all they need to do is either send us a flash drive or send us something. They can just shoot it over to us via email, because most things, with the exception of music videos, basically there's a cap, but then you have like the drop box that you can put it in, and we can just take it off of that. So we can get this information digitally without actually like going to these people. The only thing that we do need from them is a signed piece of paper. That's the only thing we physically need that we can't do digitally. So
well, yeah, a lot of people actually have their demos on
right.
SoundCloud and stuff like that.
But again, to further illustrate that that's not the entire way that we're going to do it. We also, might want to have somebody's actual painting here in the studio. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to just be pictures of the painting. It could be the painting itself. Yeah. Because who knows? Some of these artists might want to give away their paintings, and that would be great. Some of these singers might be willing to give away one of their songs if somebody will buy the other couple or whatever. So we're going to work out all those details. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. And like I said, we are going to turn Spit the Wit, and it's going to have a segment that's called The Struggle. And The Struggle is playing music for up-and-coming struggling artists. Mm-hmm. And other forms. Because like I said, there's people that juggle, there's people that do other things that are not.
Oh, yeah.
There's baton twirlers, there's all that kind of stuff. And eventually we want to have those people come into the studio and display their talents too. However, we encourage anybody that might be considering that to use music that is not copywritten. So if you have some like juggling routine that you do to Smooth Criminal or something like that, you're going to have to change up the music or come to us and we could create something for you. So And our whole thing was inspired by somebody that just liked our Spit the Wit episode, and that is Mario Zapata. Mario Z is somebody that we want to have on the show as a panelist every once in a while, and also to be able to play his music because he has a bunch of stuff. So he was actually our inspiration for the idea. Because when you were here in the studio and you were talking about your stuff and you sang live, for those of you that haven't seen what I'm talking about, watch our last episode, which is episode 22, and Mario is playing one of his songs, and here live in the studio, and we were like, we like the format of having the music, and plus, her and I don't always have time to come up with topics because we have our own regular lives that we have to live, and so sometimes we're struggling to make time for the show and can't always do so. So
yeah, we get so caught up worrying about the show itself, the technical details, that we kind of get here when it's all set up, and we're like,
right,
okay,
right. And we too, along with everybody else, have to fight traffic and idiots and morons and people getting in your way in line or breaking down in front of you and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, oh man. So the everyday struggles of life sometimes prevent us from being on our game when it comes to the show. However, with the music thing, I don't think it's going to be the case so much because the time that we're trying to eat up will be eaten up by other people's creativity, which works perfect for us, works perfect for you. And we're so glad that Facebook won't let us play copyrighted material, because I would so much rather play somebody like my friend Terry HBK, who's a dope-ass rapper, dude. My friend Terrence. And I would love to play his song on the stuff. I haven't even talked to him about this. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But he's a really dope rapper, and I'd love to be able to play his stuff. And I would much rather play somebody that I know rather than somebody that's already made it and has already reaped all the benefits of being famous and stuff.
Yep.
It would be much more gratifying. So we are going to make that happen somehow, some way. The universe is going to pave the way.
Yep.
Yeah. What you got, lady? You want to talk about anything?
Me?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if you're talking to me or
You're the only lady here.
Jennifer or
Right.
yeah, actually we were going to talk a little bit about traffic at one point. Like, people don't drive their cars, and like when they go to make a right turn, have you ever gone to try to make a right turn, right? And the person in front of you hasn't allowed enough room for anybody to go past them.
Right.
I don't know what you call that, but
Right.
rude. So you went off one day on the fact that people won't step on their gas pedal and drive the car and pay attention to anything other than themselves.
Right. And see, that's a thing that mainly applies to like Vegas and other places that are kind of behind the times. No offense, Las Vegans. I don't mean to put us in a category, but in some ways we're more advanced than California being the case. And in other ways we're not. And one of those ways is we don't have freaking right turn lanes. Like in California, dude, it's like, and trust me, I'm not sitting here like most people that are in Vegas that moved here from Cali talking about how Cali's better. I am not a freaking Cali fan. I am not a California person. Okay? And so
Me neither.
but there are things that they have down that we need to step up our game with, and one of those it being that there's typically a little island and people can make a right, and they can go and make a right in Vegas. I don't even know where one is. I don't know where a single one is. I'm trying to run through every street in my brain right now, and I have no idea. Because for those of you that don't know from other states, like say this is the road you're on, and then you reach a cross street right here. It's literally that. It's this street and then this street. There's no little turnout for you to go right. You have to come up to the corner and make a right. Old school style, like in the 40s or some shit.
It is.
And it's horrible because you get trapped behind people and it just ruins your day because that one idiot's in the right lane. And, bless him, he should be able to be in the right lane, He doesn't have to always have the foresight to not be in the right lane, which is what we're all hoping for, because I typically try to stay out of the right lane unless I'm going to be making a right. But some people, don't know or aren't thinking, and what would solve the problem is if the state would provide those right turnouts so that the person doesn't have to be ridiculed from his every whim. But yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that because that actually happened today.
It happens every day.
It does happen every day.
There's some kind of traffic crisis that happens every day where people are just
exactly
pulling out in front of you or cutting you off or, just absolutely not aware of anything around them.
And I was in deep in thought when I was talking about that, and I missed, we had a phone call, and I missed it, and I apologize. So if you're listening, please call back, and we will, I'll pay more attention to the light that tells us that we're having a phone call so that we can talk.
Yeah, I've seen it light up like one time, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
Since it doesn't make any noise.
Right. Sometimes I'm looking at you or I'm looking at the camera, and it's my peripheral vision isn't what it used to be.
Like, go ahead, call in,
right.
talk on our
and
show.
then they call, and then I don't answer it. So. But it is going to be that way sometimes, too, when we're, obviously we're doing the radio show where we're playing music from artists around Las Vegas. And we're going to be playing this, hour block of music or whatever. Obviously, we're not going to be like, hey, Spit the Wit, let me just turn down everything we're listening to because we finally have a caller.
No, we'll have blocks of time where people can call in and then, they won't be able to.
And, there could even be a situation where I could, because we have control of the volume for the most part on our telephone, so I could, mute them and keep them on the line quietly until the song's over and then be like, okay, so what's up? Like that kind of thing. So yeah. And if you were trying to call in just now and it was busy, it's because I screwed up again. It's like I'm pretty sure Saturday Night Live did a skit about. No, you know who did a show about this that was hilarious? That took live calls. Nobody out there is going to get this unless you're deeply rooted in comedy, and you are old enough to understand. But there was a show called Mr. Show with Bob Odenkirk and David Cross, and it was the greatest show ever. But they did that show where the guy was taking live calls, but it was pre-recorded. It was a pre-recorded live call-in show, so people would be like, it would show up on the TV, and he'd be like, "If you're calling to talk about pets, that was last week's show. On this week's show, we're going to be talking about, traffic, which you have to call in next week in order to talk about it." And people were thinking they were getting so confused. So they're like, "I'd like to talk about traffic." And he's like, "No, that's next week." Oh, man, so great.
That was the one with the dog, right? The dog was sitting in the chair, and the dog was like, "I'm out."
So great. Oh, man. But sometimes whenever I'm dealing with the live phone calls, it makes me think of Saturday Night Live or Mr. Show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, let's see. What do you want to do?
What do I want to do?
Yes, what do you want to do?
Well, I'm not going to say what I want to do on the show.
What is second that you want to do?
I know. I had a thought, and did we talk about the Bellagio fire?
We did not. Okay. We did not really talk about the Bellagio fire. That was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
I guess it was a couple of days ago.
No, I don't think it was a couple of days ago. I think it was a couple.
Oh no, because it was at we were looking at our phones at Noreen's.
So it happened on Thursday.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, this fire at the Bellagio, what's up with that?
Fires. What are you gonna do? What the hell? Thanks for making the show awkward, Jessica.
Well, that's what I'm good at. The socially awkward, social anxiety. I'm
and
a poster child.
Fire at Bellagio. Oh no!
It was up in flames, but only the top part of it was in flames, and nobody got hurt.
I don't know. I never heard what the cause of it was, but then again, our cable shut off. So how the hell would I find out? But anyway, basically, there were some rooftops in the shops section of, and I don't know what they call their shopping section. Like, at Caesars, it's the Forum shops. At Bellagio, I don't know what they call them. But anyway, it was like their equivalent. It's their mall, basically.
You can't afford it. That's
Right.
What they call
It's called You Can't Afford It. Well, shit, we can't afford our cable. So, so basically this fire broke out on the rooftops. And the reason why it spread so rapidly and wildly is because a lot of that stuff is like faux
It's
wood and stuff. Yeah, it's
styrofoamy,
made of
stage-
styrofoam, basically.
Yeah,
So it's
set kind of stuff.
yeah, and so, but nobody was injured from what I heard, and it never even penetrated the inside of the building. It stayed to the rooftops where all that cosmetic, faux wood and stuff was.
But it was funny because I was reading the, I think it was our local news station that had posted about it. So this guy had commented, what was the cause of the fire? And somebody else commented, Trump thought that the Bellagio was a foreign country. And I just lost it, dude.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it was one of those things where I don't know if it was supposed to be that funny, but
That's fucked up. Oh, man. Yeah, because we typically don't talk about politics too much. And we have not mentioned the bombing yet. And I don't know what's going on with that. For all I know, we're at World War III, and we don't know because you and I don't get the news.
yeah, we don't have internet, so we could literally have
Right.
stuff going on all around us,
Right.
and we have no idea.
The last thing that I heard were there were a couple of ships headed to North Korea and some headed to here and there and everywhere. And everybody's just basically putting themselves in threatening positions to prove a point to each other or something like that.
Maybe that's why our internet was shut off, because you and I are so over analytical that if we knew anything was going on, we would be freaking out right now.
Right. Well, you mean a reason other than there was no money to pay the bill?
Yeah. I'm saying, like,
I don't think Cox was sitting there going, you know what? They paid their bill.
no.
But they're so over analytical that we're just going to shut their cable off anyway.
Wouldn't that be weird, though?
It would.
It's like, wow, these companies actually have your best interest.
Right.
Okay. But, no, I'm saying, like, it just happened to work out this month to where we couldn't pay it because we would be freaking out right now.
That's possible. I mean, the universe does work in mysterious ways.
Ignorance is bliss,
Mm-hmm. It is. That's why most of the time I'm sitting in the bathroom just going, because I'm completely content being an idiot in the bathroom, banging my head against the wall. That's why. Because ignorance is bliss. Yeah. So, nice imagery I've just put in everybody's brain. What is that clicking sound? Do you hear that? Every once in a while, there's this little click in the line, like static energy, and it's probably what it is too. We still haven't taken care of our grounding situation.
But maybe it's the feds.
It's probably the feds.
We're being tapped right
We're being
now.
wiretapped by Donald Trump.
Because only we know where the satellite is.
Which one? There's only one satellite?
The satellite.
Oh,
The satellite.
Still don't know which one you're talking about.
You know, the one that they came in while my friend was at the grocery store and they took the wall down, put the satellite in there, and then in an hour.
That's a funny story. Did you tell that story ever on the show?
No, because it has to do with
Yeah, well, you had a friend that was a drug addict,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so
crystal
people know.
meth. And so I went I don't know, I went shoe shopping or something with this person. And we were gone for like maybe an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes into the apartment. She starts freaking out, looking at her wall, which looked exactly like it did before we left. And she insisted that it was a slightly different color and that the government had come in, knocked her wall down, put a UFO or a satellite, one of the two, in her wall, and then re-plastered and painted her wall in an hour. Because I'm like, why do you think they care so much about you? Right. And she didn't know. It's just that's how it was. Like, that's what the feds were just out to do that to you. And I'm like,
I want to know what benefit having a UFO in the wall would.
I don't know.
Why not a recording device or even the laser off of a UFO? Why the whole UFO itself?
Just in your wall, yeah.
This is so ridiculous. Drugs are funny.
They really are. It's sad. It's sad but funny.
I would say more funny than sad, because nobody forces you to take drugs.
No.
So, sorry if I'm laughing at you and you have a drug problem, but I lived my whole life without doing any drugs, and so that's why I'm not laughing at myself or begging for somebody's forgiveness. nobody told you to become a drug addict. You know what I mean? So I have very little sympathy for that. Plus, I have several people in my life that were drug addicts that stole from me, and I refuse to give sympathy to that kind of crap. You know, I understand it's a hard struggle from what I'm told, but I also know that a lot of people make up a lot of shit. You know, like it's so hard for me to stop stealing everything all the time. Maybe
I don't want to stop stealing from my mother.
Right.
And exactly. I have had, I have done drugs, and I have had, certain alcohol problems and things like that. So I can say, look, you can do it. Like.
But as you remember, my mentality towards you was pretty much the same thing. And you got off drugs and alcohol. Because I wasn't sympathizing with you. I was like, no, you're being shitty. And when you stop being freaking shitty, then you'll be a normal person.
That was Valium, though.
That's fine. I don't care what it is.
It wasn't street drugs at that.
Right, but it's a drug. Drugs is drugs, dude. But I'm drinking caffeine, for the love of Christ. That's a drug. When
you are prescribed, and this probably goes, like, I have a little bit more sympathy for this, because when you do a street drug, it's bad. But when you're prescribed a drug, you don't think that it's going to have the same effect on you. Right. So you end up with as this more of a frog in boiling water. When you get high, you take a hit of meth or crack or whatever you like, right away, I might not be thinking clearly, or I might be hallucinating because I just got high. But with Valium, Norco,
right, there's the cushion there. That's the doctor that you think makes it okay.
So you think you're still sane. You don't think you're high. So you have this thing that starts to happen where you're completely delusional.
Right. And see, I mean, entire where's a really big drug using capital? Oh, let's go Hollywood. Sure. Yeah. And most people that use drugs are either in Hollywood or New York. And in Hollywood, there's very many people out there that are trying to push this movement, and it's an idea that absolutely makes sense, and that is that drugs are drugs and they're bad for you, and prescription drugs are killing more people than street drugs are. And the reason why is because of that belief, because they believe a doctor gave it to them, they need it, it's medicine, which is totally bullshit.
It's the same, and when you start looking into the pharmaceutical drugs, things like morphine and Adderall, I mean, they are methamphetamines. It is heroin. It's the same thing. It's just marketed differently.
Right.
Valium, I don't know what the hell that was, but it was, I guess, similar to alcohol, because all benzodiazepines are like alcohol.
And none of it's good, dude. Like, everybody needs an outlet. If somebody does like the entirely worst drug on the planet and literally can do it once every freaking 5 years or whatever, I don't have a problem with that. Because I think that people do need to, like, escape from reality every once in a while. But if you're not in control of yourself, then you need to be in control of yourself.
Well, and here's the underlying problem with pills and alcohol and drugs and any of it, is you're not taking it recreationally. You're taking it as a relief from your problems, and then it wears off.
Right.
And now you're right back in the same boat, but you want that relief again. And so you can't stop doing it because the underlying problem is still there.
Coming from an ex-drinker, I drank pretty much, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week for the most part of my life. And I never was addicted to it. And it was an escape from crap. But it was also a form of, hey, today was so great. Like, just one of those days. Like, just picture your perfect day. You're, like, out on the beach, not drinking. You're out on the beach. You're playing. You're in the water. You've gotten some exercise, some sun now. And now, dusk is falling. It's a beautiful sunset. You're sitting there smoking a cigarette and thinking what a great day you just had. And I would want to amplify that by going out and drinking. Sometimes it was to amplify the greatness I was going through, not just to get rid of, my shameful skeletons in my closet or whatever.
Yeah, back when I was like 21, go to a nice dinner, and you'd go out on the town window shopping or whatever, and you wanted a glass of wine, or mixed drink or something.
Yeah,
and it was a completely different feeling than drinking to escape.
Right, and I think that eventually you start drinking to escape because it does make you feel better. And there's been plenty of times where I was upset with somebody or something, and I went and intentionally went to get drunk to forget about my problems. And for a moment, it took care of the problem.
It does.
But I never, I don't know, I don't think I ever got caught up in the fact that this is the only recourse that you have to having problems is to go out and drink them away. And I think it takes a certain somebody or a certain kind of failure to assume that that's the only thing that's going to make it better. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and I always rolled with the punches. I would set out to get drunk to forget my problems, and sometimes it wouldn't make my problem go away, it would make it worse. And I'd wake up the next day and go, well, I'm not going to drink again tonight and make it worse continually, So it's like people that battle addiction or whatever, they'll be like, well, you don't know, man, because you were never there.
Right.
And it's like, I've been physically addicted to alcohol because I partied 5 days in a row and didn't know that that's, 3 days is all you need to get drunk, to get severely drunk, to get physically addicted to something. And within those 5 days, I was physically addicted and didn't know what was wrong with me the next day, that I chose not to drink and started having the shakes and the whatnots. And I was like, well, let me just test the theory. I'm going to have a Bloody Mary. If I feel better and I don't feel like I'm on death's door, then this has got to be alcohol related. So I drank a Bloody Mary, and sure enough, I felt better. And so I drank 2 more Bloody Marys to get me past and make me. And then the next day I drank 2, and the next day I drank 1, and then I was a normal freaking human being again. I didn't turn this into a reason to start robbing from my parents or some shit.
And that is the thing. Like, you gotta get yourself off of that once you realize that it's making you a shitty person.
Exactly. And I think that a lot of people have a lot more control than they think they do. They're just weak. They let themselves be weak.
Yeah, they're wanting to be victims because it's easier to be a victim.
And that's what I don't condone. And that's why, whenever I do have friends that are strung out and stuff like that, I'm like, hey man, that's messed up. I'll help you out to any degree that I can, but that doesn't involve, getting you high or, giving you money to get you high or whatever the case may be.
Letting you crash out at my house while you get high.
So that I can sleep while you steal from me.
Yeah.
Like,
take my stuff
and then I'll forgive you because I'm a good person and I don't want to stay mad at people. But your condition is giving you an excuse. It's like, okay, let's take a cheater male. How many guys have used the excuse, hey, I didn't want to sleep with that girl, I was drunk. And all of a sudden it's supposed to make everything freaking better? No, absolutely not. These people are using shit as an excuse. And that's why I don't condone drugs. I don't dislike people that do drugs. I dislike people that can't handle their shit. So
get off of it if it's making you do stuff like that. Or if you think it's making you do stuff like that. I don't think anything actually makes you do that stuff. I think,
Look, we all know in our subconscious, deep in our brain, it's not right to steal from our friends or to break into a freaking Walgreens or whatever the case may be. Okay? So if you're going to use drugs as a freaking excuse to do that, you need to freaking grow up. That's just how I feel about it. And I don't mean to be a pompous dick about it. And I know that there's a lot of people that have had drug problems or had, prior drug problems or current drug problems or, known people that have had drug problems and they're making excuses for them and shit. And that's what I'm saying is when you stop making excuses for it, it makes a lot of people grow up. And I'm not saying that it's going to fix every problem because some people are strung out beyond their intentions.
And some people really do have a past
Some
that
people
is so
really,
messed up and so painful that they don't know how to deal
but
with
it's
it.
just like
any other way.
just like with anything, once society jumps on board with something, and now it becomes saturated.
Now it's
you
accepted.
can't tell the difference between the people that are truly strung out and can't help themselves to the ones that are just choosing to be weak because they're weak dickheads.
Because it's accepted.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah.
So.
And that's how I feel about that. And it's funny because I'm probably going to step outside and get freaking capped by a freaking drug addict. Screw you,
funny.
Spit the Wit, and your mentalities against drugs.
Not funny, sweetheart. Not in this area.
What are you saying, that Spit the Wit studio is in a bad area? I assure you, that's not the case. Let's see. Anything else we want to talk about before we sign off?
Not so much.
Not so much. We've
We're...
Did you say weak dickheads? Kincaid Voss said. I think I did. It was several minutes ago, Eric, and as you know, I my brain moves pretty fast for a non-drug user, and I don't remember what I referred to as. We have Eric in the room. Dude, you know what you should do, Eric, is you should call us for the last minute and a half of our show just to say, hey, what's up? Because we're going to start, I don't know if you heard earlier, but we're going to start playing local artists' music on our show. So you're one of the people that we want to start playing their stuff. Because I heard your stuff, and I like your stuff. I think I actually sang in one of your songs. And we want to play them to get them out there. So... if you're still listening, Eric.
Making the show about the people as well.
You should. Okay, I will. I'm doing a Eric voice. Okay, I will. Not that that's what you sound like. Give me a second. Okay. You're being timed, sir. You're being timed. Let's see. Oh, I think 1 second's up. It's so funny because with people that I'm talking to on the computer whatnots on the interwebs, and you both assume that I'm just allowed to sit here. Okay. And have dead air. Hello, how are you? Spit the Wit.
Hello, is this Spit the Wit? Wow.
It is, sir. How are you?
How did I get through?
Oh, you know, well, we have enough lines. We added like 16 other lines today, so there's never any busy signal.
Listen, I wanted to say something. I missed the show, but
Okay.
I caught the end.
Okay.
But I wanted to tell you something that I thought was funny today. Can
Okay.
I do that?
Yes.
All right. So there's the Facebook killer. Are you aware of this guy?
What?
No, we haven't had internet because our cable shut off.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there's a guy. He was killing people live on Facebook. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Right. So what happened was they caught the guy because he went through the McDonald's drive-thru and he was recognized.
Oh.
And so the people who worked there told him his fries would take a little bit longer, and so in order to stall him, okay?
Okay.
So, anyways, that's how he ended up getting caught. But here's the funny thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to express this the way I want to,
Okay.
but you'll catch my drift.
Okay.
So, it was on an AM talk show. They were talking about this event, and they actually gave the details. They're like, as he was going through the drive-thru, he purchased a 20-piece chicken nugget and fries for $5.29.
Oh my God.
They gave the details. So I said to myself, this could be a new form of advertising.
Right.
Did you hear what I'm saying?
Yes. I know exactly where you're going with that. So in other words, and we're not saying this is the case. I have to clarify that, Eric, because we could get sued. But like, let's say, for example, I don't know, freaking Marty's surfboards, okay? Starts whacking people in the heads to death on Facebook Live with Marty's surfboards that only cost $179, is what you're saying, basically, right?
It's like they're telling you this really interesting, terrible news story that they're like, oh, by the way, you can get a 20-piece nugget for $5.29. I was like, this is crazy.
That is so insane, dude.
That's the kind of dark humor that I love.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All right.
Here's the horrible thing about it. I'm getting serious now.
Okay.
But, it was, he killed an elderly gentleman. He killed an elderly man. That was his victim.
Huh.
And I think he shot him in the head. And it was, just crazy, man. And the times we live in. You would think if somebody did something on Facebook within like a few minutes, they'd be caught, you know?
Right. Right. I mean, I was under the impression that Facebook was basically owned by the CIA now to keep track of us. And they can't stop a killing.
It's like, why did it take McDonald's workers to to find this guy.
Right. Exactly. Well, because they wouldn't have been able to announce the 529 Chicken McNuggets. That's why.
That's true, but also it lets you know that what makes a serial killer. If you eat enough McDonald's, it actually can poison your mind, and you'll start to think like a serial killer.
Right. It's the MK Ultra food.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the food, man.
Right.
They're getting us to eat McDonald's, and before you know it, we turn into serial killers.
Jeez, man.
Go vegan.
Oh, man, dude. That's something, man.
Not that it would
So you
actually help, but...
So you guys are wrapping up the show, huh?
We are wrapping up the show, dude.
Okay.
Why? Did you want to throw something else out there?
Well, you know me. I can talk about it. I have a million things to talk about, but...
Well, we can go on one more topic. Go ahead.
All right. Well, tonight I'm going to see this movie called The Shack.
Okay.
And I just found it kind of disturbing that, I don't really know anybody who would go with me to see The Shack. I mean, do people besides myself go see this kind of thing? I mean,
what is The Shack? I'm not even aware of what that is.
It's like a religious movie about this guy that has his daughter was killed by a killer.
Okay.
And then he hates God, kind of, and then God ends up giving him sending him a note in his mailbox to meet him at this shack.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm reading the book, and I couldn't get through the entire book, but I figured it was still a good story. I'm going to go check it out in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just sad. I don't know anybody who would want to go see that with me. It's too, I guess, religious and philosophical.
Well,
but anyway, that's not as interesting as the Facebook killer. But
right. The thing about it is, Eric, is that my wife and myself normally would be able to go see a movie. We do have a couple of things that we have to do after the show. However, just for future reference, her and I don't like to watch anything negative anymore. We've washed that from our lives. We don't like to watch movies.
Not a negative movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ones that involve like murder and things like that. We like watching like comedies pretty much.
Friends
I like
and,
picture the girl that beat cancer in The Secret, right? She did nothing but watch funny stuff. She wouldn't allow herself to see anything that wasn't funny, made her laugh, made her feel good about life. So me and Jess are kind of that mindset right now where we're going through this.
Cool. I get that, but I think you're misunderstanding what The Shack is all about. The Shack is not going to. It doesn't show any of that stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's just that's the movie is not about that. The movie is about him dealing with the death of his daughter, and he's in the presence of supposedly what God is.
Okay.
So it's a philosophical movie. In no way is it like a violent-ass movie or anything like that.
Right. Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what. You be a filter for me and watch it and let me know if I'll watch it.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you the review after I'm done.
Okay, good. Maybe even on the show, dude. We haven't had you on the show in a while if you want to come back.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
By the way, are you doing Noreen's this Thursday?
I am doing Noreen's Thursday, and I expect you to come out if you can.
Yeah, I got to run by a timeout first.
Okay.
I'm playing some open mic over there. But
Oh,
after
dope.
that, I
Okay.
can come by.
Well, plug your show right now. Where are you playing an open mic at?
Open mic at Timeout Bar on Charleston and Jones.
Charleston and Jones. What time?
Whenever. I think they start their open mic about like 8 or 9.
Okay. And you say that's this Thursday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And Eric, just to let you know, we're going to start playing a segment called The Struggle, where we're playing local artist music, and I would like you to give me some of your music to play on my show, along with written consent that I'm allowed to play your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you need the written consent, but I'd be happy to send you a text.
Okay, great. That works. Okay.
All right.
All right, dude, man. Hey, dude, thanks for...
I'm suing you, Frankie. I'm suing you.
Thanks for calling in, bro. I love you, man. Be safe out there, dude.
Love you too, man.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. And very, very nice. Thanks for giving us some subject matter. My good friend Eric Maldonado, everybody who goes by Kincaid Voss.
I was kind of hoping he would do a,
What?
Impressions.
Yeah, well, Danny Ballard's been doing that lately. And so we're going to let Danny do that every once in a while. Eric does a great, what's his name?
Jeff Goldblum?
Jeff Goldblum, that guy. He does them really well. Anyway, we are going to get out of here, everybody. But as you heard in the last bit of our phone conversation, we're going to start playing local artists, local Las Vegas artist music, along with anything involving the arts, paintings, juggling. What else? I always say juggling as if there's just like this mad amount of people out there trying to break into the juggling market. It makes me laugh. Listen, exclusively, if you're a juggler and you need to juggle on Spit the Wit, you need to call the number below. Okay. Oh, silly shit. All right. Not only jugglers, knife throwers, whatever the case.
Lion tamers and you name it.
Bring your lions into the studio. Oh, man. But yes. Okay, sorry. We're falling apart over here. If you would like to be part of our show in any way, shape, or form, let's just put it that way. If you want to be involved in the show in any way, shape, or form, call the number below. But don't let that be the main source of your getting a hold of us. Actually write to us, either myself or Jessy Meadows or the Spit the Wit page. And like our page, that would help. Oh my gosh. Juggling cab driver, Kincaid Voss, Eric says. Juggling cab driver, he is a real person in Vegas. Well, put him in contact with us. I don't know how we're going to videotape him juggling in his cab. How do you juggle in your cab?
I don't know.
Or is it just that he is a cab driver that juggles? That's what happens.
It's got to be that's what it is, because he wouldn't have a very,
Or maybe he juggles cab drivers. He's a really big guy, and he juggles cab drivers. What?
Juggling cab driver. Maybe.
Right, juggling cab driver.
Maybe.
Maybe he juggles cab drivers.
That'd be something to see.
That's probably what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyway, we love you guys, and we thank you so much for watching. And if you want to be involved in our show, please contact us, because we are going to start playing everybody's material here on Spit the Wit. So we love you. Thank you for watching us.
And choose love over hate always.